It is time.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time. It's time.
It is time.
It's the Money Show.
The Money Show.
The Money Show. The Money Show.
The Money Show.
Makodem Mandibo. Let the conversation begin.
Igbo Bibo, ekene munu. Welcome to the Money Show. Makodem Mandibo. Afam Buchuka. Anya putasia. Kaime kaise mena nkata ndị Igbo. Maka ọganiru ka o wedela anyị mma. Ndewonu. Nketa ga-adịkwa special maka na this is the special edition of the Money Show. And today I ga-enwe a mixed audience. So sometimes I ga-asụ Igbo, sometimes I ga-asụ Igbo. Ọnụnụ maka isi eme anụ. The Money Show is a collective conversation maka ndị Igbo all over the world where we gather, rub minds, share ideas, and find solutions to our collective challenges. MONI is an acronym for Maka Odemma Ndi Igbo. And today we decided to have a special conversation that is different from what we've been doing since. This is the 24th episode of this show. And for that reason, we will do it in a different way as well, so that we can have a smooth time. Again, because we're having a special guest or special guests on this conversation tonight, it will be an interaction. It will be an interactive conversation. That means that we will engage them. We are coming to ask questions, discuss with them. So we'll put them in that position where we just want to hear from them about education. We're talking about physics, about education, about science, about Ndi Igbo, and about how we can prosper Ndi Igbo, how far we've come, what we need to do, where we are generally. And at the same time, we are getting into the month of celebration of a life that has been very contributive to our livelihood, our progress as Ndi Igbo, and our prosperity as a nation, Nigeria, especially in the area of science. That's what this conversation is going to start with, but it's going to be broad. Feel free to come in from any angle. Just make sure that your question is directly connected to what we're talking about tonight. Like I said before, I will speak Igbo sometimes, I will speak English sometimes. And we're Igbo. If you come in and you can't speak Igbo, feel free to speak English. If you can speak Igbo, feel free to speak Igbo. The most important thing is that we understand ourselves so that we can have it fluid, organic, easy, and simple. Like we always say, we have our ground rules here. When you come in with the mic, you pick your mic on mute, and make sure that you go straight to the point when you are asked to speak or when you are to speak. Go straight to the point. Avoid unnecessary protocol. I know that you want to respect and appreciate our guests, but make it brief, make everything precise. Avoid noisy environments. Lastly, respect yourself and respect the audience and respect the guests so that we can have a civil, beautiful conversation. Another thing, we have a custom here. Once you come into this show, you tweet the space, you retweet the space, you share the space on your DM, on your WhatsApp, and let others know that we are having this vital conversation because this affects all our lives. That's how we do it, so we can grow what we're doing. Also, at this moment, we are live streaming this conversation on YouTube and on Facebook on our channels, on youtube.com/kunye-media. And also on Facebook at Kunye Media Official. So for those who cannot join us on Twitter because they don't have access to Twitter, they can join us on those other platforms and be able to listen to the conversation. Like I said before, feel free to press the mic when you're ready and engage our guests as we move forward. Alex, Ndewo.
Joker. Can you accept Prof? They have already requested.
Yeah, he's already on this. He's already a speaker, actually. The speaker panel now.
Okay, I'm still seeing him. Okay, I think I may have to go out and come back again. I'm still seeing him as a listener.
All right. Nelo one them. Yeah, one. Eputasia.
Yes, so Adimuma. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good to be here. We're all here for one thing. It's an exciting day today. We can't wait to hear from from the prof himself. We can't wait to be impacted because obviously everybody here, Imalugo, that the way you came here today is definitely not the way you're going back. Yeah, so thank you to the media and everyone that's facilitated this, and thank you, Prof. For honoring our invitation. Thank you so much. That's to you, Chika.
Yeah, Priscilla, one them service culture evangelists. Yeah, one.
At the moment, my brother, I know him Niku.
Yeah, so your voice is clear today.
Oh,
When the physics about
fantabulous.
the physics about her, so all the comment affect everything.
I know, right? I know, right? Good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on wherever you spacing in from. You're welcome to a yet another edition, and today is going to be interesting. Today is going to be so much fun. So, Biko, Eba just sit down, put your seatbelt, and get ready for a fun-filled day with
Please, I would
Professor
like to
P and
plead.
Okeke.
I, would- I would like to plead on everyone's behalf. Can we just speak English today? There's a lot of people who will not even
Yeah.
hear anything from Igbo. So I think for us to carry everybody along, let's just speak
Okay.
English today.
Priscilla was speaking. Okusia, that we'll deal with that.
No
Let's have
problem.
her
Yeah,
complete.
No
I
All
problem.
think
right.
I think most of the time I na su English, man. And then my Igbo so has. You understand? Because most
Mm.
times people na know Igbo, man, I na su Igbo like that. So, but I na know everything on your plan Igbo. And since it's an Igbo space, you make it su English, you make it su pure Igbo, you make it su English. You're not below the dabagin or no. There's no we are not tying it to be very strict. But anyways, you're welcome. Mr. Chuka has laid some very fantastic rules, but I'm just here to remind you that you can also post your comments in the comment section, and yours truly will find the time to read your lovely, lovely comments, right, Chuka?
Yeah. I'm counting on
Yes.
you for that.
Do I have any
Actually,
other job here again?
you have so many jobs, so we'll be engaging our guests. Actually,
I
it's something
know, I
that a lot
know.
of people here do not know. We have two guests
Yeah.
here, but they're using one account. Imago, what Alex was talking about is about the fact that we have some people in the audience who are not Igbos. So they should be able to also follow the conversation. That's the reason why we're speaking mostly English, because our guests are not just, they haven't just only impacted the Igbo, they have impacted Nigeria and Africa. So there are Nigerians here, there are Africans here, because these are great people. These are not just local champions. These are global figures. And that's why we're having it this way. Mana, we'll do our best.
I'm
We'll do our
making it
best.
in one or two Igbos left and right. Get your
Of
top and I won't
course.
Igbo.
Of course. Even our guests can feel free to speak Igbo whenever they like. Me too. I wouldn't
Yes,
even know when I'll speak
so
Igbo sometimes because I
oh.
mean it's natural for me.
Yes,
Yeah,
today is gonna be so much fun.
we can't wait. So please bear with me because I will start with Igbo, then switch to English because these people are also elders in our land, and we like to accord some kind of respect to them when we speak to them. So we'll start with that. All right, let's move forward. Ndị be anyị si na ọkwa na mma onye nwere ka o ji a n'aka. Onye nwere mmadụ ka onye nwere ego ka esi ekwu ya n'Igbo.
Supple.
Mana onye nwere ego nwekwa mmadụ, mmadụ ife ezugo. Because ego dịkwasị important as mmadụ. Igbo nwere mmadụ, Igbo nwere ego. Anyị nwere mmadụ, anyị nwere nnukwu mmadụ ebe a, mmadụ na-abụ brọda ofu onye ebe a. Ọ ife na-asọ m ụsọ now because nkata ya akpa today bụ nkata ndị nnukwu mmadụ. Ife fa na-eme, ife fa megolo, and ife fa ka ga-eme, and kafa si akwado anyị, kafa si agwa anyị, ife ya agwa anyị ka ife ya egbukwana on our own because it's like we are taking over the legacy in our own ways. We've been talking about education for some time now, for about 3 weeks now, and this is going to be the climax of it as we're going into the new month. That's why we decided to have it this way. Ndị anọ bụ ndị anyị ji aba and ndị anyị ji aga. So tonight, joining us tonight is one of the most important physicists in Africa. He's known as the father of astronomy in Nigeria. He has contributed immensely to African space research. His books have traversed all the corners of the country and beyond and found their way into our homes, schools, and libraries, elevating minds and shaping the youth for a bright future. He's an embodiment of enhanced learning, His signature is timeless in the world of physics and astronomy. He's a fellow of the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan, fellow of Royal Astronomical Society, fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Science, a fellow of the African Academy of Sciences, an associate of the Pan-African School of Emerging Astronomers, an associate of the West African International Summer School for Young Astronomers, a recipient of the UN NASA Award in 2007 for his work in advanced astronomy in Africa, United Nations Consultant for Space Science in Africa. He has authored and co-authored 15 books and more, including the popular Senior Secondary Physics, a book he co-wrote with his wife and SF Akande. Interestingly, we are also introducing his wife because she's joining him tonight. So arguably, she is the most popular woman physicist in Nigeria. A laureate UNESCO for Women in Science Awards laureate for Africa and Arab states. One of the best 5 women in the world in physical sciences. First Nigerian woman fellow, World Academy of Science. Fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Science. Fellow of the African Academy of Science. First female professor of physics in the southeast of Nigeria. First female head of Department of Physics and Astronomy, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. First female Dean, Faculty of Physical Science, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Representative of Nigeria and Africa in UN and UNESCO on scientific matters. With joy, love, and gratitude in our hearts, expressed with excitement through our emojis. I repeat, through our emojis. Let's welcome Professor Pius Nwankwo Okeke and Professor Francisca Nneka Okeke. Hello, sir. Hello, ma. You may now unmute your mic. It's an honor to have you on this show.
I don't know.
Hello, sir.
PN Okeke, Emeritus Professor, University of Nigeria. I retired, my university made me the title of Emeritus to keep my office.
Prof, please, can you speak English? A lot of people don't understand Igbo.
Yes. Okay. So I'm very happy for being here with you. An opportunity to be able to discuss with you. And also, you're a very good impression you already have about me. I'm still, as I said at the time, but I'm still working, especially trying my best to improve your understanding. Education cannot stop. It's ongoing and continue to go. So I've already produced very recent books, a chain of them that further simplify the study of physics. I'm available. Let me stop here, save your time, unless you want me to talk on a particular issue. I think.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Maybe we can have Mommy also greet us. We are aware that she's there with you.
And particular Alex that brought me here. Thank you very much for now.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. We are aware that Mommy is also there with you.
Oh yes, she is here, but I don't know. I don't know whether she is
ready to speak.
Whether she is connected. You want to talk?
Okay, she will have to speak from your own phone.
She can speak through your phone.
Yes.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, mommy, we can hear you.
Hello,
Okay,
Mommy.
thank you. That's Francisca Nneka Okeke, a professor of physics, department from University of Nigeria, Nsukka. I'm happy to be here for the first time today. I
It's an
thank you
honor
for.
to have you.
Oh, thank you very much. So I have heard all you said about me. They are all true. Then I'm sitting and listening for further questions or whatever. Uh, Dialogue on the bar.
Darling Nema.
So thank you.
Okay, you have heard their voices, so it wasn't a joke. It wasn't some film trick. We actually meant what we were saying. So it's time to move into the conversation. Usually I start the conversation, but today I'm going to make it open. We have a lot of people here who are scientists and different things they would like to ask about this. So let's move into the conversation. Let's start with Alex. Alex, tell us the reason why you've been doing what you're doing about Professor Okeke and also his wife, and your plans and the efforts that have been put into this and what we are trying to achieve. I'll join you as we talk.
Okay, thank you so much, Choka. So we all know that we are building up an education revolution as a tool to transform our nation. And it's something that is ongoing. And part of the people that have done the greatest impact is Prof and the lovely wife. Just not to play with so much numbers, I think over 50 million people over the past 4 decades have been impacted by Prof's work. And knowing this, someone who has impacted at least 50 million people deserves the highest form of honor and celebration. And we are also so fortunate to still have Prof and the lovely wife with us. This is a rare privilege. And not just that, Prof is still simplifying physics. Everybody loves how he simplified physics in our time. And at 82, about to turn 83, Prof is launching 5 new books. In short, it's actually 6 because there's another one. So 6 new books at 83. And that means the coming generation are so lucky. So because of this, I think someone who have championed this over this long period of time, we need to continue to celebrate them. Why we celebrate them, we don't know. A lot of other people will be inspired to impact more people. And that is why it's important that we celebrate Prof. So now, my first question is, Prof, you took up this journey several years ago. I would like to know your story, what inspired you, how you came into physics. Out of every single career path, you chose physics. What inspired you? What made you know that we need physics to be simplified and all? So this is my first question. I want to know your story, and I also want to know from Mommy too. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that very interesting question. There are 2 issues. Writing the best textbook. I said, what motivated me is, why should we allow the white man to be doing things for us? And I said, it is time for us to get independence, do our things in the way we want. And I so decided to write that thing. And immediately I finished writing it, their books get out of the market. About the space science, the same question I said, does it mean Nigeria should not join space research? Do they have a brain more than what we have? And so we went into the application of space technology. And today we fought and got a space agency in Abuja, and which is doing very well with many branches. So I think this is the main thrust is that I want to people to start doing things by themselves and discover. You get this one, they say it's from China. You get this from England. The best knowledge we should insist in our children now is for them to do things, deviate from other people's way of doing things, and start doing things ourselves, made in Nigeria. Let them use our own product too. I think I will stop here unless I'm not satisfied here.
Okay, Prof. Thank you so much for the response. But at the time you wrote these books, there were barely computers, and there were nothing like artificial intelligence. So that means the amount of work you put in to be able to get enough knowledge to simplify this is a lot. So I want to know how the journey of the research and how you were able to come up with the first edition of your book.
Yes, I was challenged by the lawman in England. Came to my office and said, can you produce any book better than Nelcon? And I told them they should give me a few days to reply. Within few days, I showed them about 100 reasons, about 100 reasons why I can improve better than Nelcon. And they gave me some money to start as an advance. And within 6 months, I produced a book. I worked very hard. It doesn't require much computation. And at times we use calculations. We remember that it's now that we have spoiled our children. If you want to add anything or divide, you start looking for calculator. It was not like that during our time. So I didn't find it extremely difficult. What I did was to explain things much from the root, the way a Nigerian can understand it. And, so this is all I can say about it.
Okay, thank you. This particular question now, I'll ask now will go to Mommy before I come back to you, Prof. So, Mommy, please, can you tell us your journey into physics? Because Daddy is physics, Mommy is physics. So why physics? What is so special about physics? And what was your journey? What is your education background? So we would like to know. And how you worked with Daddy to come up with the first version of the book.
Okay, it's a long journey, but I have to just be very brief. First, my journey to physics started even when I was in elementary school. We used to be in a class when the plane will be flying up in the sky. As children we were. We rushed out from the class and we'll be waving to the plane and saying plane. And then, but my own, when we were waving, I was thinking something else from others. I was thinking, where is the rail, or where was the rail or the road through which this plane is flying? As I look into the sky, you find out that sometimes the sky will turn blue and sometimes white. I got into the class and then started with curiosity, started asking my teacher. I noticed that this plane flying, there is no road, just as a vehicle passing on the ground. But the reply would be, when you get admission into secondary school, your secondary school teacher will give you this answer. I don't know. And again, I asked, why is the sky blue? And at times we turn white. She said the same thing. Your secondary school teacher will give you. As soon as I entered secondary school, the question I asked my teacher, yes, these are the two questions that has been bugging me, but nobody could give me an answer. The teacher told me, you are a physics teacher when you get to 3. We explain this. I'm not a physicist. I'm quoting the person. Okay. When I go to class 3, the first question I bombarded the teacher with is the same question. And he was a man. He smiled and said, yes, you are starting physics. When we get to somewhere, at mechanics and this, I will give you the answer. So that was this curiosity that pushed me into touring the science way, which is physics. So when they now finally gave me the answer, that did not give me that impetus to go to physics. But then my father, my late father, who was a mathematician, made me went ahead of my class. In any class of mathematics, I went ahead of the chapter we will be. And that made me, when the teacher would ask, especially algebra question, the class, did you understand? I put it here. Everybody will say no. My voice will say yes, yes. He will turn around and say, who said yes? I said, I. Then he will ask me to come and do the mathematics. The same with geometry and the rest. And then when I finish, they will not, for the geometry, when I proved the problem, I just wrote cure ED, word errand theory. And then people will now be shouting, this girl is so tiny because of the mathematics that is in her head. And that made me, the love I had for mathematics, metamorphosed into love for physics. And then physics and mathematics became my best subject in secondary school. So my father would always say, you will be a medical doctor. And I wanted to do that way. But I have to jump some steps. When I finished my school cert, I made A's in mathematics, physics, and the rest of them, but not in biology. So when then I was posted as auxiliary teacher, untrained teacher, that is what is auxiliary teacher. From class 5 to teach class 5 students then physics. I went to the principal and said, sorry, I cannot teach them. What do I know? Say, if you know what you did and made A, tell them the story, don't teach them. Guide them to make that A. It was a very difficult task. Though what I did was one day during the weekend, the students asked me to solve a very difficult problem from past papers. Then I went home on the weekend, went to CKC then because my father's house was along the CKC and DMGS. But the graduate teachers there could not solve it. It bothered me. Throughout the Saturday, Sunday, it was the midnight of Sunday, the wee hours, that I got the solution. I yelled, and my sleeping father heard my voice and said, my daughter, what I put in, what is your problem? I said, Papa, there was no problem. I have solved that disturbing problem. It was Archimedes' principle that was coined with Hooke's law from past paper. So I was so anxious the next day to take me to school so that I will go and then solve that problem. So when I got to the class, I cleaned the board and I was solving the problem with ease. At the end, the students, they shouted with one voice. I will quote them, Miss Emma, what that is mean. That means you are very intelligent. We have taken this problem to so many schools of graduate teachers, but they couldn't solve it. It was that day that I changed my mind of becoming a physicist. My becoming a physicist, after my school start, I married my husband. It was not because I married the love of my time that was a physicist. No, because of that problem that I solved that the graduate teachers could not solve. And I told my father, I will no longer study medicine. I will be a physicist. So incidentally, when I got married and wedded after my school start, I married my husband and he was a PhD student. And then this way he solved his difficult theoretical problems, and I watched him as if he was dancing, made me double my interest in physics. So not because he was a physicist, but that encouraged me a lot. So that is how I became a physicist. And then in a class of 31 as undergraduate, we were just two ladies studying physics. And out of these 31, we were the three best who made 2-1. And from that, from their convocation arena, and I saw them matching with that, I said, I'm going to have my PhD in physics. So My husband's encouragement is second to none. Because even though my father watered the plant, sciences, so the award ceremony was in France.
I think the network
looks like it looks like the network is not very strong at the moment. But that's been a very beautiful story. This is a
honestly,
okay, I think
really
she's
enjoyed
back.
the story.
Wow, power couple indeed. This is a very rare thing to see. Especially considering their age. I mean, Professor Okeke is 83 years old. I was going to be 83 years old next month.
This coming
Next,
month.
Considering their age, and at that time, you can imagine how many women were in education, and then how many women were advancing in education at that time. That gives you a clue to what this mommy is talking about here. Like the kind of leeway, the kind of encouragement that came from her husband is a proof that their destinies were tied together.
Yes.
It was just clear from what she was saying. In fact, I was tempted to ask her, it's like you didn't marry for love, you married for purpose.
Or maybe that inventor said, I am a physicist.
Wow, I never see this kind of thing before. Anyway, they are back. They're back. So let's continue. Mommy, you can continue.
Okay, please, Mommy, can you unmute and continue? We are listening. We're enjoying everything you are saying.
It's going off again. I gotta apply physics to this one now.
Yes.
We need to apply.
I can use it. I keep me this pretty. Man, I am.
Or third order of quantum physics.
I think they are back.
They all see a force in motion. Okay.
I think they are back. Okay, you can unmute and speak now. Mommy, please continue. Hello? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Mommy, welcome.
I really don't know where I saw because we are cut off. So I think I have rounded up the story because I told you it's going to be a long one, but I just really made it very quick.
You stopped at where you said your husband has been really supportive. That is why you had to advance to do your PhD.
Yes, and I said thereafter I did not stop in getting my doctorate degree, but also for my postdoctoral, I traveled to University of Tokyo, Japan, where I did my postdoctoral course. And also, after that, I've won several awards, which you have already mentioned, the Laureate UNESCO Award for Women in Science for the Physical Sciences, where I represented Africa and Arab states at large. And then, yes, also I've won the fellow, the World Academy of Science, Africa Academy of Science, fellow Nigeria Academy of Science, and so many others. So, and I've been mentoring many candidates, particularly girls, encourage them to do physics as a course, as their career course. So let me just stop here for a time.
Thank you so much, Mommy.
Thank you, Ma.
We really enjoyed every single bit of your story. Every single bit of it, we really enjoyed it.
Me, I want to tap into that blessing.
You're already a graduate.
You know, when you
want
meet
to
your
go back to
destiny
school?
helper, see, you're okay, graduate. Mommy seen all of the love of her life.
Chirinwoyo English. We know here Igbo too much.
The few times I'm speaking Igbo, people should leave me the ministry.
Don't worry,
God
the next
that
one,
revealed
if
that
we're
one
having...
Sometimes,
please,
they enter.
let's just stick to English. You can't come and see Igbo.
Mommy said, today that is flowing, God, I beg. Tomorrow, next week, Chuka, if it no flow, people should not call me out though. So anywho, Our mommy said that she met the love of her life, and it so happens that he also loves physics like she does. Is it not the style I'm saying that God should bab me? Is the style now? Let the one that the person that I meet, so she also, be aligned to the ministry. So everything will be going ahead.
Yes, so
Mommy, it's so inspiring. Thank you so much, Ma. Especially to the female folks here, to the women here. It's inspiring, and to the young ladies as well. It's also inspiring. Thank you, Ma, for sharing your amazing story.
thank you
All
so
right.
much.
All
So
right.
the
I
next
just want
Thank you.
question, I have one more question.
before you go, Alex Bikonu, please. I still want to request that we retweet and push this space. I don't think we have up to 15 retweets. I mean, we are more than 100 here. So everyone who is on this space right now on this show, if you're enjoying this conversation and you would like other people to join us, please share the space, retweet, send it to your WhatsApp, send it to DM, let people know we're having this conversation so we can broaden the audience, so you can impact more people. Wouldn't you like more people to hear what we're talking about here? That's the essence, because it took a lot. I'm telling you, it took a lot to be able to get these great people to this space. By this time, they are normally sleeping or watching TV. They had to break their protocol to be here. So let's make the most of it. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, Alex, do you mind if let's take one question from you, then we now move the mic to other people.
I know. That's the last
All right.
question. So the last question for now is, excuse me, Daddy, please, we would like to, the way we heard Mommy's story and her journey to physics, we will also like to hear yours, so that a lot of us can also be inspired in that route.
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Don't. Wait, can you repeat the question,
So
please?
the question is, we would like to hear Daddy's journey. I mean, his education background and his journey into physics. And
Why did he
just the
choose
way,
physics? Why did he choose
why did
physics
he,
at the
out
time?
of all the subjects,
All the
why did he choose physics
medicine,
at the
law,
time?
architecture, he chose physics of all subjects.
Because for you to be a physicist, you must be super brilliant, and probably you have
Yes.
options of medicine and all. And at the end of the day, you chose physics. So we'd like to hear his story, his education, and everything.
Yes, this story is going to be a very long one, but I will try and cut it very brief. The most interesting thing is that I was very careless initially. In secondary school, I was admitted to a school that was not doing physics and chemistry. And I was in trouble. So I wasted 5 years and failed school SAT. So it was a rough journey. Then I move on. I said, I'm determined to do physics because as like her, mathematics is the same as physics. So I went to the School of Science, Lagos, where I did the O level for 1 year and scored everything. And finally registered for the advanced level, math physics, and scored A in all. I was admitted in the University of Lagos. In the University of Lagos, I won the faculty prize the first year. And so I was on scholarship. Unfortunately, the war came in and we were bundled from UNILAG to the University of Nigeria. Everywhere they came back to the University of Nigeria. And then I didn't give up. But the war started. And then for 3 years, as you know, we were fighting. I worked with research and production throughout, where I even manufactured the rocket series type of rocket, even the one for anti-aircraft. And I was working with the research and production throughout, and applying all the physics I knew. And finally, when the war cleared, and the most interesting thing is that I did the best result, and I was recalled by the University of Nigeria as the first set of junior fellows And then instead of going abroad to do my PhD, I was convinced that I could do it in the university. I said I became the first PhD of the University of Nigeria, the first person. And thereafter, I went to Cambridge, University of Cambridge, where I did my postdoctoral with the most distinguished astronomer in the world. And that is where I got my root. After 1 year, I came back and then formed a formidable research group. And the journey is so much that if I start telling you where I visited almost every part of the world. I was in Japan as a senior research fellow. And also sort of, while we were doing all this, we were publishing very sound publications. And I finally climbed to the top of getting a professorship. And then produced 35 PhDs. Most of the facilities are used in different countries like South Africa. I took most of them out of the country because my emphasis was on capacity building. So I trained most of my students who came back to Nigeria to join space. As I told you, Nigeria should join space. And that is how where I grew. I don't know whether I finished the story. But the final thing is that I was, I took another appointment when the space agency was created and became the first director of basic space science in Nigeria, which is now making a lot of progress. When I retired from there also, I was made Professor Emeritus. And so Emeritus retained my office and continued to work. As I said, anybody who stopped working at any age will decay. And so I even continued writing my books. And you can have an idea now of the journey, because I'm going to distribute my memoir during the launching, giving you the details in brief, a memoir of almost 100 and something, 60 pages will be distributed for people to read it, because it's not something you can tell a story. I hope I have satisfied you.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Because
Prof, you have, and your story makes a whole lot of sense. It's so inspiring.
I'm worried about time.
Sir, I would like to ask. I would like to ask.
Yes.
I believe that at the time you started your journey, there were probably very few Black men and very few Africans who were who were on the paths that you were following. So I would like to know about the challenges you faced and how you were able to surmount them in those days, so we can learn.
Oh, when I went to South, I was, by looking at what I did in Cambridge and Japan, South Africa appointed me to be serve for 6 years as with the National Science Foundation, overseeing all the astronomy facilities in South Africa. And when there was a time I was coming in the hotel, I was they refused that I should come into the hotel. When I was with white people, they gave these are people I'm going to supervise what they were doing. And they allowed them, but they said that I cannot be accommodated. And then the white people said, this is our master. If we don't accommodate him, then we go. So this is a very bitter experience. And then they brought my key. And I warned that person that this is the first time you see a Black man that is better than more educated than a white man. Even again, so many experiences like that I had in terms of discrimination. I don't know whether you...
Yes.
In Japan is one of the best places in the world as in terms of what I saw. Very organized. They don't discriminate. Very, very interesting type of book. So again, let me save your time in case you still want to ask more questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that.
Yes.
We'll bring more questions. Let me pass the mic around and have other people also engage you so we can have a...
Because these things will be the write-up. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. We have Tosin. Tosin, go for it.
Chuka.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I would like to ask a question, please.
Okay.
First of all, I want to appreciate those who organized this. Mommy and Daddy, I'm one of your sons from Ekiti State. I was in UNN in 2011, 2012, 2013 for my master's degree. And I was in the Department of Solid Art Geophysics. And Mommy is the head of our team. Though she's in atmospheric, but she's the professor in charge of the solid art geophysics. And fortunately for me, Mommy was also my PhD supervisor when I enrolled at the University of Nigeria for my PhD. For those of you that have not seen Mommy before, specifically, Mommy, she's one of the most beautiful scientists in the world. In fact, she should be the most beautiful scientist in the world. She's very easygoing. If you meet her on the road, you will not know that Mommy is a professor, and you will not even know she's a professor of physics. She's very down to heart. She's so loving. You know, if you see most of us master students and PhD students, when we move around her, you will think we are her daughter. So I'm just trying to paint the picture of who Mommy is. She's very easygoing. You know, thank you so much, Mommy, for being an inspiration for both men and women. And we pray that God will continue to, sustain you in Jesus' name. And you might not really know me again, remember my face, but, there are a lot of us like that, not only in the East, also in the southwestern part of Nigeria. And I also know some of my colleagues that also came from the part of the North as well. So you were accommodating to all of us. You were loving. Daddy was also loving. I went to Daddy's office only once because I was able to connect with him, having read his physics textbooks when I was in secondary school. And the day I saw Professor P and Okeke, I'm like, what? I was so excited. So it's so much of joy for me and so much of fulfillment. Though I'm not a software engineer, but those things we learned from your physics textbooks, those things you taught us during the course of our master's degree, the light you've shown to us is part of those things that motivate us. As much as I'm no longer in physics fully, I also work in the climate change sector, which is also have influences in geophysics and also atmospheric physics. So I just want to use this opportunity to appreciate you, ma, to appreciate you, sir, and to pray that God will continually sustain you, and we'll be making our contributions towards the program that is coming forward. Thank you. Our best wishes, my best love to Professor Urama, Professor Usoji, Professor Shukude, Professor Animalu, Professor, I've forgotten the names. I've forgotten all the names of my amazing professors. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Thank you.
All right, Priscilla. Thank you very much, Tosin. We would like to have more of these testimonials. This is actually what makes it worth their while, to get to see or hear from the people who have impacted them directly and indirectly by the works that they've done over the last few decades. Priscilla, go on.
Yeah, thank you, Chuka. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, please.
Fantabulous. This will be going to Professor P.N. Okeke, sir. One thing that I've noticed over time is that, I don't know if it's this part of the world or maybe just Nigeria, but when it comes to documentation, it's not something that we are really, really big on. right? But you've been writing and documenting for years, even consistent in giving us new editions consistently. What inspired you, sir, to start documenting, and what keeps you consistent on doing that? Because your work rate on bringing new editions is one of the reasons why your name seems to transcend generations, millennials, Gen Z, various generations have read your book. What inspired that, sir? Thank you.
Hello, thank you for that question. I continue doing that because of love of physics and the way to make it easier, even a market woman to be able to understand without the mathematics. The last version of my physics can be read by everybody. In fact, we're even thinking about translating it to the Igbo language so that in Japan, all these countries, France, they have all their science in their language. Why not? Why not Nigeria? So I'm not giving up. I still continue to see what I can do to simplify, especially now we're about to get into the university level where you have complex quantum mechanics and the people are running away from them. I want to make them easy to understand, deviate from what I see in the white man's book and think in a different direction. So I'm supposed to be very brief, so this is all I can say about that.
Dalo, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I can actually, I'm very excited about how he responds to questions, how you respond to questions. It's so precise. Like I have never seen that before. And
I think that comes from years of being able to articulate his very
thoughts, yes.
Various amazing thoughts, and clearly in the way he writes consistently.
Yes.
It's brilliant, sir.
Yeah, I mean,
Honestly.
that's what you can expect from an emeritus professor who has produced more than 30 PhD students.
All right. Let's spread this conversation. Let's go to Dr. Peso. Dr. Peso, before you speak, please, I would like to request that we have some ladies here. Mama is here, and we would like to engage her, and we would like the ladies also to come in and bring some perspectives regarding this journey that they've had, and the journey that some of us are having as science students, and even as Nigerians, and as women in education. Let's expand this conversation and touch every aspect that they can touch, because, guys, we don't have a lot of time to spend with them. They are aged folks, so we need to move fast and quickly exhaust this so they can go to bed. So let's have some ladies join this conversation while we go. All right.
Look, sorry, this is not a question. There's something I want to say just briefly, less than 1
All
minute.
right.
I earlier posted, so a lot of people have reached out. They want to support Prof and the work, and we are planning something really, really, really big in Enugu on the 30th, which is the book launch and also the big birthday celebration. And this time around, we are combining both Daddy and Mommy. So it's a big event. So for people who wants to support, I posted it earlier, they can go through my timeline and they can support. Especially for people who probably are skeptical, now they can now hear from Daddy and Mommy. So they can now support the work if they wish. So it's just for people who have been writing. I intentionally ignored them until I got an approval from Daddy, so they can support the work as we progress. Thank you.
Yeah, I will be speaking to some of our friends from UNN, also from physics, who are also in the United Kingdom, and I'll be in your DM to put what we are going to be putting together as a team, and I will communicate that to you, Alex.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
That's great. All right, let's hear from Dr. Piso.
Can Mr. Alex put his post on the Jumbotron? Mr. Alex, can you put it on the Jumbotron?
He's not.
So that people can easily.
He's not a co-host. Let me see if I can make him co-host, so that makes it easier.
Okay, can you just pick it from mine and just put it there, please?
Yes.
Just pick it.
Okay.
Pick it from my
Okay.
timeline and put it there. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Pissel, and I'm really, and I've been eagerly waiting for this space to happen. Over the past few days, I was with Alex somewhere in Vienna, and we were having a vast discussion, and we talked about this. And I was so excited when I heard it was going to hold. And good evening, Professors Okeke. I am really elated to be listening to you and learning more from your wealth of knowledge. You know, growing up and trying to be a science student, many of us fall in love with biology for obvious reasons. And my biology teacher then in secondary school, when he heard I was studying physics in the university, was the most shock of all persons I have ever seen. He called me and said, "What are you doing? Why not biology?" And I said, "Why not physics?" You know, I had to read about people. So I read about Professor Okeke, Piano Okeke, before anything. I also read of Professor Mark Chijioke. Mark Chijioke was a professor. He's late now. He died this year. Was a professor of electronics, engineering, and Professor Okeke is a professor of physics. And so I studied in the university physics with electronics. So I had to combine these two things because of the persons who inspired me. Sir, your book, I'm happy you have simplified it further. But the one every other person read, is as simple as it should be. God knows how simpler it has become over the years. So even with my big-headedness, I still think I am going to buy every bit of those books you have revised. Not for me to give to anybody, but for me to study and get more knowledge. Because I know not everything printed in black and white, it will always add knowledge to one's mind. So I want to congratulate you on your forthcoming birthday. I want to congratulate you that you are still writing and you've been an emeritus professor. It is a big feat to be recognized by a university as an emeritus in the area of your expertise and specialty. Be rest assured that we will support in every little way towards the celebration of the birthday and towards the book launch. We will support in every little way. Congratulations and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. We're very grateful for your appreciation. Very grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pizzo. All right, we have Nkechi. Okay, she's not yet on the speaker corner. I can't see her on the speaker corner. Okay, let's move to Chikwelo, sorry. Mecca is here. Okay, Mecca, go. Then we have Cinetech. Mecca, let's hear from you. Go for it.
Okay, I was wondering whether you didn't see me.
Now, hand where you raise.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, Prof. and Professor Mrs. I'm starstruck to be speaking to you two, and because when I was in UNN, that was in the early 2000s, and I came to study engineering, but we had in our general courses in our first year, we were made to study, I think, physics 108. So that was when I saw the person that taught us that was Dr. I think Onya also, a lady as well. But I have a friend who was in physics then. So he took me to their orientation, and their orientation, there was a welcoming them to the physics department, and he invited me. So I came. That was my first time to see Professor Piano Okeke, and I also met his wife that day. For most of us that studied physics in the late 90s, and probably almost everybody, we were expecting Piano Okeke to be like a gray-haired man in the early 2000s. So, but to my surprise, he wasn't as old as we thought. We thought maybe he would look like one. So it's really nice. But I have a question. Having studied in UNN, I know how moribund this place has been. Is the research center is towards veterinary department, and I don't know, because in Nigeria much attention is not given to education, and courses or subjects like physics is like way behind. Just like the gentleman that spoke earlier, his secondary school teacher was even surprised that he went for physics. So what is the missing link? Because most science students must go through PNOKK physics textbook, but in UNN the physics department don't have as much as 50 students. I don't know whether that figures have changed. So is it so that particular space center, because I understand that you were part of the people that established the space center in Abuja, but the one in UNN, the intention that it was the why it was created was to boost the research center for science in general, but particularly on physics. And for me, I think it's supposed to be like an equivalent of NASA in the US, but there seems to be like a missing link. And I know that their law department had Kocharis, that a private person that came to. So how can people in the physics department in UNN, be more visible for people for the private sector to like come in to, like, there's the missing link. Honestly, I don't know how to. So I wish you can answer that. And for listeners here, if you really want to know what Professor Mrs. Okeke looks like, she had this interview with CNN African Voices. I think it was like 7 years ago. It's on YouTube. It was a beautiful edition. I watched it over and over again because to see a female into science like that from Nigeria is really so. I'm really happy to speak to you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good remark you made about Basic Center for Basic Space Science. When Nigeria, when they approved the Nigerian space policy, we created about 5 centers. The most important one, Center for Basic Space Science, where you carry out research. Then Center for Satellite Development, Center for Remote Sensing, and so on. And that was, I'm not trying to boast, they found me the most suitable person to head or to direct the Center for Basic Space Science. And so government is supposed to equip the place. It's supposed to be of excellence, as you are saying, to serve the university, not only UNN, but other universities and the research institute. It's supposed to be a center of excellence. We fought, but financial situation did not improve. Make budget to make it real, but the finance is not forthcoming. You start a project and then you cannot finish. It became an abandoned project. So that center is still having problems. A very good experts there. We have produced many experts who have gone to other countries and so on. Came back to start doing our own, but then the equipment is not there. So this is the little I can say about it. We are hoping that in future funds will be made available to make progress. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
All right, let's have another person. Let's hear from a lady. As a chief fellow, because when did I put to them in Okay, Nkechi first. Go for it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good evening, sir. Good evening, Professor. I was so excited and delighted when Alex had put out a tweet about 2 of you and when he finally made contact. And then I found out about this space. I said, I must be here. As much as I'm not in sciences, as somebody who is pursuing academics myself, I get a lot of inspiration from people like you who actually studied. And also as a writer, I also get an inspiration from people like you who actually wrote. In the days of probably we didn't have internet, we didn't have AI, we didn't have much help with studying. But so I personally do have a lot of respect for people, who started writing as far back as then. And especially for you people at your age, I can feel the dynamics, between the two of you. And it's such a joy to behold, to see a couple, that are still sounding so strong, so in love, And so my question is about your relationship, like, in the many years that you've been together, especially as what I would personally call a power couple, two intelligent people, who have made strides in so many ways, especially in the world of science. What key lessons have you learned about building a strong and lasting relationship? And what, probably just in a summary or in one sentence, what would you tell young people? Because relationships don't seem to last as much as they lasted in your own time. So what advice would you give the younger generation? Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam.
Okay, is it for me or both of us or him?
Well, trying to unmute myself.
Okay.
I mean, anybody,
Okay.
two of you answering it will be the best. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. What I have to say is that giving them advice should not be the same as, because what they now look for, honestly, I'm sorry to say, is how wealthy a man is, or what do you have, or what. But I have told you, I got married after my school certificate. He was a student in this university for his PhD without a car. So I wasn't looking for wealth. Otherwise, I wouldn't have married him. But these days, first of all, they will say, does this man, does he have a car? Does he any money? In fact, they are in for wealth and money. And that's why the relationship don't last. As for us, we started as pauper. When I married him, we were living in just one stupid house in the village of Bukba, outside this campus. But I didn't even mind. And he didn't. In fact, when you build your relationship on true love, when I say true love, it's not thinking that, hey, I didn't know we are going to come to this stage. But that you have love for people is different. That I love him because he can provide everything I need. So, and again, it looks like because you are physicists, the physics united us tightly more than ever before. You heard me when I said that when I watched him solve his mathematical problem, it gave him joy, and I was enjoying it too. So the only thing I will tell the youth that, please, when you are getting married, get married because you love the person, not because he's wealthy or because he can provide everything, because we don't know tomorrow. Maybe we provide today, tomorrow we not have. Or you can provide, he will not provide today, tomorrow he can provide. And that's the only advice. Love is the strong pillar, not money. And then support each other at any point in time, not what we call shallow love or love for this. That's all I can say. Thank you very much. And I seize the opportunity to thank all my students that I don't know and I don't see, but for appreciating us. Thank you very
Mommy,
much.
we love
Over to
you. We love you. We love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, man. Can I just quickly say, when you mentioned Obopa, I grew up in Soka and I studied at Obopa Girls Secondary School. So who knows? I might have been passing by your house when I was younger. Thank you, man.
Okay, go back to
let me add a few words because she has said everything. But you can't believe that she still cooks my food. Even when she was, even if she's a professor, when it's time for a meal, she goes to prepare it. Nobody ever prepares her food for me. And the love is incredible. I don't think, I think he has said he married me not because of money, but because of love. That summarizes it. And I don't think is what is happening now. So she had said it all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Wow. When people of this age are saying that the love is incredible, just imagine that. If we were in church now, we'd have been saying, let's go and sow seed. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to hear your story. It's really, really inspiring. I mean, I don't even know how many years you two have been married for. Would you like to tell us? For how many years now?
This year makes it 50.
Wow.
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 Amazing.
That's a golden jubilee in the making. Wow.
Thank you.
Wow, this is awesome. This is actually a beautiful story. You know,
We're happy to be part of your success story, man. And Dad, we love you so much.
I love you too. Thank you.
We love you too.
All right, let's pass it around. Let's move to Ezechikwelu. Go for it.
Okay. Thank you very much, my brother. Prof, good afternoon, sir, or good evening. Prof, na nwunye ekene m ngaso some Igbo. So for the no Igbo.
Please English. Please English.
Who is saying please English?
Please. A lot of people that are not Igbo are here, please.
Okay. Prof, I want to say this to begin with. I actually was the one that made special appeal over time that you come up and talk to us. If somebody has never told you that you're special, I want you to know today that you are special. Prof, thank you very much for everything you have done. In case we don't understand, based on my opinion, this is strictly my personal opinion, Prof, the seed you sowed in people, right? You will not be able to quantify the impact it has made globally. As a child, I wasn't a science student, but I read Okeke for no reason. And this is quite funny. So I'll tell you a story. My elder sister, she went to science school. Okay, we all grew up in Enugu. She refused to eat for a couple of days because she wanted my dad to buy her Okeke textbook. And it became an issue in our house. I am not joking. I can still remember the color of the textbook is red, rectangular shape, is a bit big, red and black and all that on it. And I can still see where your name was written because she had to make us read your name. And she would say, this is Okeke. When I'm talking, you guys should listen. This is Okeke. Like as if we could not see it. But that was the effect you had on a little child back in the 90s. Imagine how many lives you touched. Things that it hits me so hard. Like my heart bleeds that when we look at people like you, right? The value you've added in our society, we have not actually repaid a quarter of it. And it's because in today's world, and it is that bad. So I want to say today, Prof, in case you don't know or you've never been told, you are an extremely special person. In fact, you exist in a different realm. And I want to say thank you for everything you've done from the bottom of my heart on behalf of every other person. And I want to say, if you are a cause, Iburiyi, please, let Nigeria, I know somehow in my heart, I know that if you're given a choice, you will not want to come to Nigeria in your next life. But if you're a curse, please let that curse remain upon us. May your next life, Owago Waisa, may you continue to come back to us. We appreciate you. Very few of us that understand the importance of education, the impact you have made. I'm saying this because we started from bottom in my family, and we can literally go anywhere in the world now. It is based on education, nothing more, nothing less. It is the cheapest way to escape poverty. It is the easiest way to grow. It's the fastest way to succeed. And you are in the middle of it. And I want to say thank you, sir. Dalurine Chineke nagozie gị. Gozie ụmụ gị. Thank you very much. I want to make one appeal. I want to make one appeal to you, sir, and to Alex. Please, whatever time you have on earth, as you celebrate your birthday going forward, please, I want to appeal that you dedicate some of it to young people. Most of the young people have actually lost their way. The generation that came after our generation actually died on arrival. And it's so pathetic. Our own seems to be worse. And that is why when I look at Alex, I always tell him thank you, because Alex himself may not even understand what he is doing. And what Alex is doing, we would not see it in the next 5 years. What Alex is doing, we will see it in 10, 20 years' time. He may not be here. I may not be here. But the seed he's planting is going to go beyond all of us. That is how important education is. Across the globe, people might hear countries that know, as in that understand how things work, people that have molecular brain in their head, they invest so much in education. People like you, if you were from other parts, you will be so revered. Like you will be so revered that when you come out, prime ministers, presidents will stand and listen. That is where you belong. But unfortunately, this is where we are. But we have decided never to give up. We are not going to give up on the next generation. This baton that people like you have handed to us, we will do our best to hand it to the next generation squarely and fairly the way you gave it to us. That is my strong wish and prayers. And I thank Alex for what he's doing. I'm tapping seriously into what he's doing. I'm encouraging a whole lot of young people, funneling as little resources as I can into what he's doing to get them to practice whatever he puts out there on the internet. Because I know how impactful it can be. So because whenever you can, please give a little time to young people. And Alex, please do take some of your students to him. It is like a pilgrimage. Let me be as clear as I can. Your student visiting him is like them going on a money. Not why don't just get on my nerves. I'm begging you. I'm going to round up in 2 minutes. Don't come into this thing. I'm particular about this because. So, Alex, please take your student to him as a pilgrimage, because we don't get to see this every day. They don't get to see and listen to people like him every day, right? The wealth of knowledge he has, the gifts he has, very few people have it on planet Earth.
It's
So
people
please
like
let us
VGM
try
that need to
as much as possible. Please, Alex, take some of your students to him. Whenever I can, whenever I touch down in Nigeria, I will try to see him. But in the meantime, can we have his account number on a jumbotron so that people on this seat can see it? Okay, is there already? Okay, so that people can see it and stretch their hands, however long or short it can be.
Thank you so much.
But
In addition, we already started.
Thank you, sir. Prof. Dalo, thank you very much, sir. You know your wife.
Addition, from next week.
Thank you. I'm deeply moved by the words that most of you have been saying. Highly moved and motivated. I don't know how to express my feelings. All I can say is that I thank everybody. God will bless all of you for realize. You can add. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Very
I
good.
wanted to say that in addition,
Thank you,
we
sir.
are by next week we are starting a proper documentary on Prof and Mommy, and the people that are championing it are Afia TV. So they are going to be on ground, and we are going to start. So a lot of work is going on. So we actually have to document his entire life, because I know that his story and his life with him and Mommy will inspire a new generation. Like I told Prof when I was in UNA, I normally go to his office. I never saw him for once anyway, but I normally go to his office. I would just touch his door, put in my chest and go. I told him that I was busy taking energy, and he laughed and said that physics is summarized in two words: energy and matter. So that was how I was able to take my own energy, and it really works, because in school I so much love physics. I think I was the best in physics all through my time. So everything about him, I admired it a lot. I never saw Mommy, I never saw that she was. I was able to take my energy. I told him that the people that you inspire the most are people that you never meet, and he inspired me a lot. So I really thank him for that. Chuka.
All right, Alex. Thank you very
Yeah, I
much,
think they are
Ezechikwelu.
cut off. So let me see if they can come back again. Let
All
me.
right, Ezechikwelu. I understand that you have a lot in your heart that you wanted to lay out, and I appreciate the words that came out of your mouth this evening to the hearts of these people that we have been talking to here. It's beautiful. It's rich. It represents what we believe. It represents what we feel. Thank you. We will spread this conversation further, but I just want to let you guys know that if you're trying to join this conversation, if you're requesting the mic, we're having challenges. I don't know if it's from the, I don't know if there's a physics solution to it beyond talking to the networks, but we have more than 50 requests. Can't easily pick them. There's a disconnect somewhere. I think it's a network issue, or probably it's from the Oga app. I don't know where the problem is from. So if you haven't been able to come in, please bear with us. We're doing everything we can to bring you in. But let's keep the conversation going. Alex, let's talk about the things that we have coming, the plans that we have coming for Prof and even his wife regarding the birthday and every other thing that's coming for the month of October.
Okay, please also check out for him once they request
Yes.
to come back.
Yes.
Okay, so on the 30th of October, we are going to have two major events, but from what I'm hearing, we may even make it three. So one is his birthday, his third birthday. So we are doing it in Enugu. So Prof chose Enugu, so we have to respect his choice. Secondly, we're also going to do a book launch. So we're going to launch 5 books. So we're going to launch, we're even adding one more. So for now, 5, but we may add one more. Then we're also going to touch a bit about the Golden Jubilee for their marriage, right? So a lot of things are happening. I want it to be very, 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 very big. I will ensure that at least my organization also more like become the headline sponsor, but we want a lot more people to be able to participate as they wish. So we want to be a big event. We are yet to choose the venue in Enugu, so we're already checking between today and probably before the end of this week. We must have chosen the venue, and then we'll start allowing it more. So it will probably be invite only, because if we make it too open, a lot more, we may not be able to have space. So we have to make it invite only. When we make it open, people should be able to request, so that we can get all the people already locked, so that we don't have to have so many people jam pack everywhere. So it's going to be a big event, and Prof is now going to give us his more detailed story. Both Daddy and Mom will give us their detailed story. We'll have a lot more people. We'll also have a lot more people who have been impacted by his work come to share their testimonies and all. So by the time we are done with the event program, it's going to be very interesting. And also, I was already proposing that if we can make October 30th the National Physics Day, I don't think we'll have anything like a National Physics Day. so that on October 30th, we'll have to celebrate. We have to create events to be a lockdown day. The way we celebrate different things in the country, we can celebrate physics, because physics is the foundation of science and foundation of invention. And there's one thing I also wanted to mention. His books that he's launching, aside from simplifying physics, he's also introducing critical thinking as a core component. So that means the people who are going to study these new books are also going to learn a lot. I've already booked, I'm going to acquire 100 of the books that I will share for my village people so that they can be in tune. So, but it's also very important, as you can also get for your own people, because if you can be able to inspire them, science helps you to think in a much more different way. So these are like some tips. So we're definitely going to engage more. As I get more information on the planning and everything, I will also share so that everybody can be on the know. So this is all I have to say for now. Thank you, Joker.
Thank you very much, Alex. Nilo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Go for
hear
it.
you. Can you hear me?
Yes, go for it.
All right. All right, thank you once again. So, my question is to Prof. When he was talking about his life experiences and how he got
Sorry,
into
Prof is
physics
not
and
back yet, so I'm not sure he can hear you yet.
Are you still
But
having that issue, Joker?
okay, let me wait then.
yes, it's
Let me
still
wait
on.
till they come.
Do you think you may have okay, if you go out, then this thing will end. So
If I go and that means we're starting all over.
No, you don't have to go out.
But
Maybe let me tell them to probably try to join with another account. Let me see if that would change.
Beyond that, are they on the space right now?
I can't even know. I can't even know.
If you can verify if they are still on the space now, so they can, at least if they can hear us, then we can go on until they can come in as speakers. I've been trying to make one of you co-hosts.
I think he's
okay,
on.
Prof is back.
Okay, he's here. He's here. Thank God.
Yes.
All right, go on with your question now. Welcome, sir. Welcome back.
Sorry, we went out.
Yeah.
The question, I'm listening, I'm waiting.
Okay, so you
All
can
right,
go on.
all right. Okay, thank you so much. So I was saying that I was this when you were telling us about how you got into physics and all of that, and you made an interesting detour into the war and how you guys were able to manufacture things, ammunitions and all of that, for the war and even for the aircraft and everything. So I want to bring us down to present day Nigeria and our education system and the fact that it's almost like these days when people go to school and to study things like physics and engineering, it's a lot more theoretical, and even the conditions where people are studying are not really anything to write home about. So I would like to pick your thoughts on what you think, of the current education system, the current what's happening right now in our universities, and even in the country in general. The fact that even as today we're not really producing anything, we're not manufacturing anything. So how would you link this to the standard of education that we currently have compared to what was obtainable in your own time? Thank you.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head. Let me tell you the problem we have right now. The major problem is even at secondary school level, you enter the lab, there's nothing. Not to talk of university, the same. I wondered whether we are only doing theoretical studies, no serious practical, and that is why we are not manufacturing anything. If you don't start early age to learn how to do experiment, carry out, handle things, weld and fabricate things, you cannot succeed with the world race. And that is right now on our problem we can solve. And it's a pity, as you said. The situation is not the same as other advanced countries. And I don't know when it will end. So I'm done with the remark.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Let's move to.
Yeah.
Let's move to.
Chuka, that's actually very despondent. Like it's very, very sad to know that, we have an education system where people go to school and they don't really come they come out and they don't make any impact in society.
On this is
And I don't know if it's something that we'll all just hold our hands and be like, I don't know, I don't know when it's going to change or anything. It's really sad, to imagine. So yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Chinelo. Let's move to Cinetech. Cinetech. After you, then we hear from James.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Professor Okeke. Well, my name is Njoko Collins Ugonna. I am from Mbise. I am from Imo State, Mbise precisely. I left secondary school 2001. Earlier in Imo State, we were told that we had only 12 physics masters and we had about 70-something secondary schools. That very time, that was around from 1998, 99, 2000, 2001. We have no physics master in my secondary school that very time. I only pick a Okeke. I registered in a Shramora class somewhere in Owerri that very time. Used to attend from my home to Owerri every day, and I read my Okeke. I have other physics textbook that are not that very okay for me, but Okeke was a little bit okay. I could remember my secondary school mates. The name they gave me that very time is physics. Anyway, I studied mechanical engineering from Enugu State University of Science and Technology, and today I'm working in oil and gas as an engineer. So what I'm trying to say here, I so much love physics to the point that my colleagues then in secondary school, they are calling me physics. Even there was a time this made me laugh sometimes. I share this idea with my wife. My wife is from Ebonyi State. She studied mathematics, and I studied engineer. All of us were in science inclined. She knows physics too well, us as well, and also very good in mathematics. So a time when I was in secondary school, I was saying that I want to prove Okeke wrong. On that Okeke that we read, the mechanism was handled by Okeke, while the other aspect of it, the advanced physics and the electrical are handled by GNA Welokwa. Though I don't know the GN, I don't know where he is now. I don't know if he's late or not. I don't know. So what am I trying to say? Especially on that part of F is equal to MA, where there was no more explanation. I think that should be the very first edition of that very Okeke that very time. I was saying that I'm going to prove Okeke wrong. As young as I was that very time, I was very young. No physics master. I was only saying that. So I picked so many different physics textbooks. I will solve and solve. At the end of the day, I will end up, not doing and not getting anything, right? Somehow. Then the same time, when I get to a Stramora class, I'll put up my questions, and then most of the teachers probably they did not really understand me, or they don't really have that very information. I read from like sometimes I start from 7 o'clock till 6 o'clock in the morning. No teacher. Even during my jam, no teacher. I did my WAEC, I did my jam, I got admission. No teacher was there. Even during the physics practical in school, where we do our triangular prism and so on, using the pin to transfer this and so on. So I was able to do it, handle it by myself, get it done, and at the end of the day, we'll continue. Today, even on wave paradox, I could remember it has been long. I left secondary school 2001. I believe I still remember all these things today. Even my questions in WAEC, I remember them vividly very well, honestly speaking. It's very unfortunate the last speaker just talked about the children of nowadays who have nothing upstairs. Who even ask them, people that most of them that left school just yesterday, you ask them one or two things, they don't know anything. Where we will talk about why into bracket sine theta, something on the wave paradox and so on. That was also that time I was finding something not really okay for me, and I'm trying to say that I'm going to prove PNA Okeke wrong here. I want to look for where PNA Okeke that I want to write to PNA Okeke. I tried putting up a letter that very time. I think I had no money to buy a stamp and put it in there and go or get money to go to Owerri, and post that very letter that time where I said that I want to prove Okeke wrong on those points, and I want him to clear me on those points that I said on the mechanism F is equal to MOA and on that wave paradox. So physics is a very good thing. We really learn it. Today I work in oil and gas as an engineer. The same time I do furniture business as I fabricate. I didn't learn furniture in anywhere. I pick up my physics textbook, especially PNA Okeke, read and understand what measurement is, cut very well, join it, make something that is very beautiful, something very unique. So that is it. I'm a construction supervisor in my organization today, and I really thank God that you PNA Okeke really impart something positive on us. The only problem we're having today is that the Gen Z, this generation, are not really trying. When they have everything on their palms, when they have the internet that is going to help them, like I said earlier, no physics master that very time, no internet, no Google to ask, no A1 to ask anything. We all pick books and read and find a way to understand, and today this is where we are. I really appreciate, and God Almighty will bless you and your wife. God Almighty is going to see you through. Your children, your family, they will not lack. And all of us here that are talking today, I believe that God is also going to perfect us and perfect our children. I think we'll all be exceptional in the whole world. So I come up with a book that I titled "Make Yourself Number One Among All." So you really try by making us to be number one among all. May God bless you more in Jesus' name, Amen. Thank you, my people. I will try my best. Surely I will
Thank
be
you
in
very
Enugu
much.
for that very occasion. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Continue, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. You have continue to be I continue to be trembled and very happy for what I'm seeing today. And I didn't know that many people are very remembering those old days, and not to talk of and appreciating my work. I'm very, very appreciative, and I thank you all. And God should bless all of you.
Bless you too, sir. Can you hear, even from his voice, you can hear that kindness, that's generosity. It actually reflects even the tone of his voice. Even in the tone of his voice. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to hear. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have some questions.
Thank you.
All right. Okay.
I don't know when you would like to speak.
All right. Let's hear some questions from the comment section. Then we get back to the questions from the people on the speaker corner. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Prof, for your time. So we have someone, I think Bella Vita. It says, we need to accelerate Nigeria's private sector participation in the space sector to complement government efforts. How can the Professor Okeke help activate business innovation in the upstream and downstream space sector? Well, Prof, I don't know if this is something that you can take.
What I can say here is that right from the word go, this is a very important remark. Very, very important, because we have been laying emphasis that the way other people behave abroad is that within the university, you interact with the private sectors, industries. Everybody will wait and graduate you start looking for a job, and you don't find because you are not relevant. This problem has been there in Nigeria, and I don't know how we will solve it. When you don't have anything practical, you go to the lab, it's empty. no equipment, and there is no interaction actually, especially when I was the director of space science. I tried to emphasize the importance of interacting, solving problems that exist in the industry so that you can collaborate and produce things. And it was not working effectively. I think the government should emphasize on this, whatever kind of curriculum they are using. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, let's take James. James, go for it. After you, we hear from Wayme. James, are you ready to speak? All right, let's move to Abuchi Okaro. Abuchi, go for it. Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
you
can
can
hear
try
you.
Waimi. I think she has been
Okay, Wayme, go on, please.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. First, let me say thank you. I know you've heard a lot of thank yous, but I have to give you my own thank you. Thank you so much for impacting in our lives. I was a science student back in the days, and physics was one of my best subjects. My physics teacher was one of my best teachers, and they made school fun. And so it's really an honor to hear you speak. I never thought in my wildest imagination that I would ever hear you speak. But I've moved on to being like a general book lover, loving school, loving education, and I can understand what it's like to want to build a world where, people acknowledge that education is very important, is very vital. You can never know enough. The world and the knowledge of this world are endless. So you have to keep reading, you have to keep improving yourself. I'm from the younger generation, and a lot of people are of the opinion that many of us don't like school. Many of us don't want to further, but I guess I belong to that demographic that yes, I want to go as far as being a professor, having PhDs, and end end up in the classroom. I'm passionate about teaching. I have taught before. It's not something that I've hidden. I've said it a couple of times. So from a teacher to a student that plans to be a future teacher in the future, what advice would you give people like myself who want to go back into the school system and they want to get to that peak of it, especially in today's world where it's almost like education is becoming obsolete? What advice would you give us?
Hello?
We can hear you, Prof.
I think, now I didn't quite get what you said.
Okay, so I will take it again. I said from a teacher to a student who plans on becoming a teacher very soon and wants to give back to society as an educator, be it formal or informal, because I believe that the world needs a lot of teachers. Education is something that is priority. You can never stop learning. What advice would you give my generation, the younger generation that wants to go back into the schooling system, the education system, to give back?
Oh, that is a good question. First of all, you made a point, very crucial point, that we need good teachers. Especially even at the grassroots level, if the student does not learn from there and jump to higher level, you don't know anything. But in Nigeria, I'm sorry to say, we ignore people at the lower level. And then the teachers are very poor. They can't their salary is so poor that go compare the salary of somebody in Nigeria with that abroad. You'll be marveled. You can see that they don't take it, they take it very seriously. In fact, a teacher in secondary or elementary school earns almost the same as those in the university. But this is not like that. So many people are not interested in going to teach. And so we require dedicated people to teach. So where do you find anybody dedicated now? When money is not there, when you are poorly paid. So this is an assignment for the government to improve this position of teachers so that they can deliver, so that people will be interested in going to teach. Thank you very much.
All right, Darwin Nessa, thank you very much, sir. Let's go to who else? Samuel. Samuel, go on.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. Daddy P.N. Okeke. I can't just call you Professor P.N. Okeke because I feel you're like a father to the younger generation. Thank you very much, and it's a big honor, sir, to actually share a space with you and like fundamentally get to talk to you. Like, I mean, this is a big deal for me. I studied in Futo, and back then we were fond of always comparing two professors only in Nigeria. I did physics, and then we had Professor Amandoka, and then we were always like, which one was the greatest, Professor Amandoka or Professor P.N. Okeke? And then every time there was that argument, everyone was like, well, which textbook did you read back in school? And we're like, well, it's P.N. Okeke. And we're like, there you go. And then eventually we discovered that Professor Amandoka was a theoretical physicist, and then you did astronomy. And we kind of read a lot about the biographies and the accomplishments of both men. And I remember my class dividing into two. Some people decided to do theoretical physics, and then some decided to do astronomy. But then unfortunately, by the time we got to our final year, there was really no infrastructural, like fundamental infrastructural provisions for us to eventually go on to do all of those things we wanted to do, especially in Nigeria. So a lot of us are outside Nigeria right now, and we found ourselves in different professional fields. I, for one, I'm in software engineering right now. And I have a very critical question, because it's not every time we get the opportunity to talk to like people who are on the fore edge of thinking in terms of what we call thinking, like fundamentally going into critical thinking and confronting real questions, especially when it has to do with human development, societal progress, and all of that. And as a software engineer, currently I look at the educational setup, educational institutions across Africa, not just Nigeria, across Africa. And there is this wave of disruption that has already started. I mean, a lot of educational institutions abroad are also grappling with the effects, and that is artificial intelligence. The question of what becomes of educational standards in an era where AI is basically doing much of the things that the traditional educational system has been teaching us in the classrooms, then what becomes the fate of educational institutions as we know it? And this is a fundamental question, because it's at the heart of what makes education what it should be. I mean, considering the way we view it in Africa, and it bothers me so much, because looking at the governments we have in Africa and the sort of body language they have towards fundamentally making sure that key institutions are functional, I don't think we should be looking at the government, which you have actually mentioned in an attempt to answer most of the questions that has been posed here tonight. And it troubles me so much to think that tomorrow I might have to live in the world where basically I have to use medical equipment that were developed based on research papers that were written by artificial intelligence. And maybe the question becomes, what would be your thing if you were to be confronted with this problem as a policymaker per se? in what directions would you suggest, like for current existing educational institutions, in what direction would you suggest we pursue solutions along this problem space? Because artificial intelligence does not look like it's stopping. It looks like it's getting stronger. It's becoming more capable. How do we begin to organize our African-based educational paradigms so that they kind of fit in, or if not fitting, but at least they don't get wiped off completely, because that looks like what's happening. And so I want to get your perspective on what you think about artificial intelligence within the space of education and research generally. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. The crux of the matter is that I'll give you an example. I wanted to start producing area vehicle. We will send people to China to study the work, and then came back with them to fly one of the area vehicle. And then after that, they would now go back finally to start constructing this instrument, so that when they come to Nigeria, they will set up on their own. But unfortunately, the project was stopped. I'm just telling you how things go. The project was stopped because they couldn't pay for the students stay in China. The same thing with what we are now saying. The problem we will have there is being able to purchase. I'll give you another example. We sent about 100 and something people to Surrey in England to study how to make satellites. They came back after staying for 1 year, and nothing was provided for them to continue. No clean room. Well, maybe you can say something about it. So my own feeling is, anything advanced like that is hampered by not producing or getting the material ready. Let my wife comment on that.
Okay, can I comment? The artificial intelligence you're talking about. The artificial intelligence you're talking about, like Professor PN has said, we don't have fear that it is going to come into Africa. But if it does, just like when the ICT came up, we were all happy, but we are not considering the disadvantages of these things. And so it is from one to the other. The ICT now has led into a serious one, which is, and they're going to displace, like I know what you're saying, that the educational setup in Africa, if it ever takes off in Africa, the research will be gone. And even we displace people at the place of work and the others. So if we are using our senses right in Africa, we will not allow it even to come to be established in Africa, not even if you don't have money. They can even up to supply you money because they know what they're gaining when they do that. So the best thing is for it not even to be established in African set or continent. Otherwise, like you are pointing out, if it happens, it's going to be very disastrous, because not only will the stop and the institutional this be affected, workplaces and everything will be done using artificial intelligence, and it's not right. I don't know. That is what the African continent should be thinking about now, because it's only when you incorporate it into their curriculum that it will come to be effective. If you don't, then it will stop at the Western places. It's not everything they do we copy. And then even like he has said, we won't even have money. But if what we have money, it's not the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Mommy. All right, Nello, do you have any questions? We'll be rounding up very soon. We're discussing with elders, and we can't keep them here for too long. They need to rest. So we'll be rounding up very soon. But let's take just maybe one or two more questions before we close. Nelo, do you have any questions from the comment section or anywhere?
Yes, I
Okay, go
actually
ahead, please.
do. Okay, thank you so much. We have a question from. Give me a second. Instead of this, my. Yeah, so we have a question for Prof. It says, Prof, are you willing to guide or work with a private research firm in Enugu? We have two labs working on fundamental research. Our research focus is on energy, communication, and understanding fundamental behavior of electronic components. Yeah, from Ugochukwu Aron. So, Prof, over to you.
Yeah,
It says, are you willing to guide or work with a private research firm in Enugu? It says they have two labs working on fundamental research, and the research focus is on energy, communication, and understanding fundamental behavior of electronic components.
You said whether I'm willing to do what?
Let me
work with them.
Let me read it again, just in case you didn't hear Nilo very well. He said, Prof, are you willing to guide or work with a private research firm in Enugu? We have two labs working on fundamental research. Our research focus is on energy, communication, and understanding fundamental behavior of electronic components.
Okay. Yes, as far as I'm concerned, it's not my area.
Okay.
And but we can find people who can do that.
Okay.
Always stick to specialists. This is electronics, which I will not say I know all. We may have to find, if we find a very specialist in the area, it would wonderful, very wonderful. That is what I'm complaining, that people we don't produce anything. We won't buy everything from others. So if we can find people that they will provide facilities to work in that lab, it's excellent. It will be excellent, very good. But not me, because it's not my field. My field is space science. Are you satisfied?
Yes. Thank you very much, sir. The level of discipline from this man. He sticks to what he knows. He sticks to his field. Doesn't dabble into other things that are not within the confines of his field. That's very admirable. All right, let's take just one more question. Where does that come from? Who hasn't spoken yet? Eric Ndo.
Sita, if I can,
okay,
please
going.
Please with you. I think Waimi said she would like to ask one more
All right.
question. I don't know if she's still on the phone.
Yeah, I can't even hear from Eric. So Waimi should go on and speak.
I would like to ask Mrs. Okeke a question if she's there. So my question.
Yes.
I have a lot of questions, but I think Mrs. Okeke would most likely, because this is more gender based and it's more for females. So Ma, if you can hear me, as a woman who really, really, really loves school in general, who loves learning and all of school books, however you want to think of it, how best do you think we can push in more females into this field of learning and developing females to get into school? It doesn't have to be science, just anything at all, to just be in the And when I say teaching, it doesn't have to be formal or informal, just to get more people to actually give back by teaching. Because, as you've rightfully said, AI, yeah, it will come, but teaching, having that one on one interaction, it's never going to go away. It's something that is so priceless. So, I mean, from a woman point of view, how do you think we can get more females into this? And I know they'll say, yes, females, that we have more females than males, but I'm coming from a generation that it's almost like nobody wants to be a teacher, nobody wants to be in the classroom. So that's why I'm asking.
Okay, your question, is it getting more female to be teachers or encouraging more females to the line of education? There are two different things.
Both actually. I'm trying to
Eh?
trying to be a bit of an Oliver Twist here.
Okay, no
I
problems.
think considering the fact that you are a prof, ma, and you went into the teaching profession, so yes.
But no problems. What we have to do is, as somebody in the field, you say seeing is believing, doing is mastering. When you are in the line already and you are teaching people, you have to be a model to them, because there are things you do, it will attract their interest. But there are things you do as teacher, for example, in the class, they will hate you and hate teaching as well. So that is why it is very good that when you are teaching and when you are before the female, particularly the female, you have to do something that will attract their attention always. And some of them will even, when they say that they hate teaching, when they say, but I enjoy this woman's teaching. That is being a model to them. And also, it is also good that we start early, not for those that are in the university or secondary, from the elementary school to do that. Even encouraging them to have interest in choosing their courses. It starts from elementary school. Sometimes you form a form of drama group and show them how important it is for female to be educated. And then also, if you want them to toe the line of teaching, you give them so many examples on advantages of women being teachers. What then they have, even though there will be no much money, but there are things that are greater than money in future. For example, if you have to look into the affairs of your family, there are things teachers can do that bankers and other people in other sectors of work area will not benefit, but the teachers will benefit. You have time for your family, have time for everything, for your children, and then you are not tensed up. So in bringing up your children, if you have that time, which is most important, because if you have the whole money and then you lose your children or your family, then it's useless. So those type of examples will help them to the way, especially when you live by the example you give them. It's very necessary, because you don't tell me that being a medical doctor and being a teacher, you have equal time for your family. Yes, so this type of examples and then lives we told them into that. Tell them also you have also to be determined in doing things you are doing and focus. They will take example from you, because you give what you have, not what you don't have. It's not when you don't have that you want to give them. I think that is all I can say. Gathering.
Yeah, thank you so
When
much.
you put seminar and then talk about these things in seminar, so gathering and so on and so forth. They will internalize it with time.
Thank you so much, ma. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I.
Thank you.
Chuka, can I have one last question?
All right, go ahead.
But please. Okay.
Nello, please,
Okay, my
can you
question will
increase
be.
your volume? I don't think people can hear you.
Yeah, so
Oh,
yes, your
really?
volume is
Okay.
quite.
Let me disconnect my earpiece. Because sometimes
All right.
earpiece they do these things. Yeah. Okay, just give me a second to disconnect.
So, Alex, after Nello, you go, then you just say, I want to
Yes,
meet you.
please. So we need to conclude, yes, so that the prof can come rest.
Yes. So,
All right.
the reason why we.
I'm back
Okay, go.
now. Is it better now?
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So my question is for Prof and his wife. So I'd like to know just to something like, what would you say is the highlight of your careers, individually? What would you say is one moment that you would always look back on and like a defining moment in your career? So Prof and Professor Mrs. Whoever goes will go first. It's fine.
Okay. You mean that I call it a turning point in my career or what? That's what I don't
Yes,
know.
could be a
Yes.
turning point, a defining moment, the highlight, a time that you were most proud of yourself or your achievement and all of that.
The time I was most proud of myself is the day I got a phone call from France announcing my my award as a laureate of Fleury UNESCO. In fact, I got the message. I was confused. I ran to my husband and says, I had this message. I don't know what that said. And I told him. He took the phone and they said, are you standing or sitting? Or I said, I am sitting. I am sitting. That's what I told them. But I was standing. But I was so curious to understand actually what they said. They found my research and my work worthy of being elected into. That was my happiest and turning moment in my career. Thank you very much.
Yeah, let me tell you mine. Yeah, mine is the day they pronounced that Nigeria has joined space race, because I was the person that started working with the United Nations, telling them that Nigeria should join, should not be left alone to go to space and work. And I will continue to thank President Obasanjo, who said, so if you go to space, you can use it satellite to count what is on the ground, something like that. I will say yes. He said approved. So that day he approved it, I became the first director of the Center for Space Science. That was a very important point. Then the next one is when I successfully produced a book that through NERCON, which is NERCON and Packard, which is the book they are using, then all of us used it. And I got it out of cell. Immediately my wife came in. That was a very good moment in my life too. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you so much for for breaking out this time. I know how we were able to go back and forth with our raise for you to be able to accept. Thank you so much. We really, 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 really appreciate. I mean, for me, this is one of the most important times in my life. I mean, hearing you and hearing mommy, and also getting many of these nuggets, advices, and guides. I remember the first thing you said to me about the summary of physics, which is energy and matter. So I really, really, really thank and appreciate you. And I believe that each and every one of us, because I've been monitoring the space and I can see that everybody, the numbers has been increasing and everybody has really, really enjoyed their time here. So
thank you very much for making time to organize this. It's wonderful. I have told you that you move like the speed of light. And the day I told you, within 1 month, you want us to launch something. He said, yes, and with the speed you are moving, it is possible. That's why we are very, very grateful. And to other speakers, we appreciate you very much for being with you this evening. That's a big surprise for me and my wife. Once more, thank you. And God will bless you all.
Amen.
Hello.
Thank you. Chuka, over to you.
No,
Thank you.
let's hear from mommy. Let's hear from mommy before we close. Thank you, sir.
Yes, please. Yes, I need to join my husband because this is the first time. Because the first day he told me that I would be honest with you, even until I hear LS talk, I was so afraid. I said, "This Nigeria is not stable. Why? When did you start this?" And I was still, but now I will tell you, I am happy. And I appreciate you, LS. I don't know you, but before I was afraid. I said, "Is it now they know you? Why should this thing come now?"
He confronted me.
I said, "Please, you. There are so many 419s. I'm afraid." But now I am relaxed. Thank you very much. May God bless you abundantly for us.
God bless you too, man. God bless you. God bless you for
God
us.
bless
And
you too, man. Thank you.
And I thank everybody that is part of this, even the listeners, the people that are in this for. I thank you very much. It's not easy to get people appreciating others. So God will definitely bless you, please.
amen to that. Amen. Nilo, let's hear from Nilo before we close.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a very, very fulfilling and heartwarming night. Thank you so much, Prof. and Professor Mrs. for spending your time with us. Like, you don't understand how much you've impacted us, how much you've inspired us. And, honestly, my heart was full. I had tears in my eyes, but thank you so much. Thank you. And please, whenever you can do this, we would appreciate it greatly. Thank you so much. Back to you, Chuka.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, my sister. Prof, I got one. Prof raised to power two. Prof raised to power two. Actually, we are very happy. We're very happy that we have been able to do this, to have this conversation. We appreciate the sacrifice that you both have made tonight. We are aware that you don't usually do this in the night. You don't have conversations outside your home on the phone or anything like this in this way in the night. So you went out of your way, broke your protocol just to be able to hear from young people all over the world, young Nigerians especially, and Africans. We thank you for giving us that opportunity. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege to have this chat with you. The reason why we decided to do this is because we live in a country where we easily forget the ones who make the most impact in our lives, just because there is too much attention towards money and things that do not really matter so much. So we have decided to pay attention to the things that really matter and promote it, recognize it, acknowledge people who are doing significant work, especially in the Igbo, that are contributing to the society in any way or form. We are dedicated to promoting that. You've been on the MONI show. This actually is a conversation for Ndi, whereby Nakwado if Ndi. So we said today we will make it a special edition just to be able to have the two of you on the conversation and just share time with you, hear your voice for the first time, and then you hear us too. And we're happy that you really, really enjoyed this. We hope that maybe some other time we'll be able to have you, one of you or both of you, on a different platform or even on this platform, wherever. But we're looking forward to sharing that special day on the 30th of October next month. Next month, 30th of October, as we celebrate Daddy's birthday and the books that will be launched, and also hear from you again. You know, it's been beautiful hearing from you and talking with you both. We are praying
Thank you.
that God will continue to preserve you and your husband, and
Amen.
make the work that you have done to continue to expand, to continue to reach more people, to continue to change lives. And we ourselves are promising that we will never forget your work. We will never dump your work. We will always do whatever we can to make sure that it gets to more people. In fact, this thing that Alex talked about is serious. We are going to do a documentary and capture as much as we can about your story so that we can have a preservation of your history, of your life. So that even many, many, many decades later, when you are all gone, your story remains in the annals, in the records. People can find information about you, even children that are not yet born. This is what we're dedicated to doing, and we will continue to work as hard as possible to make this happen. Thank you once again for this beautiful time that we've shared with you. All right. Thank you, everyone who has been on this space. It's been a beautiful enriching conversation with Professor PN and FN Okeke on the MONI Show. This is the end of this conversation. We want to appreciate everybody who has been sharing this conversation. We want to appreciate those who invited people to come to our YouTube channel to listen on the live stream and even on Facebook, and everyone who has made efforts to bring people to this conversation, even those who gather people to listen in the space where they are listening to this space, maybe in the room or office, wherever. I want to say special thank you to Alex, who has been laboring tirelessly to make this happen, and even the coming events. So much is coming, and we'll be unfolding them as we go. Every day you will see new information. The truth is that this has been an extension of our conversation about education. So everything is aligned. We've been talking about education. Our mommy and daddy, we want to let you know that we have committed to making sure that every child in Igbo land goes to school. This is a project we have committed to, and we will make it happen in the next 12 months by the grace of God.
Amen.
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 We pray that we continue to work so that this becomes a success.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Thank you, ma.
Also,
Thank you.
everybody get your money ready. Prof is going to be launching their book. Don't be found wanting. Get your pockets ready. We're going to launch it in big style. All right, Chuka. Sorry, I had to come in there.
All right. I think we have somebody here who is also very important. A son of the profs, Prof raised to power 2. Let's hear from him before we close. Ikenna Okeke. Ifenna Okeke. Go for it, please.
Okay. I think Prof is speaking.
Hello?
I'll speak when Prof is done.
No, it's.
I love that. I love that.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Prof. Good evening, Ma. Good evening to everybody on the
Oh, good.
I want to particularly thank you for granting us this privilege to be here and have this conversation with you. I've been on this space for quite a while, and I've been listening to your thoughts, and I can't help but marvel at your level of experience and dedication to education. Well, I've never been in a physics class. I'm not a science student, but because of how well my brother spoke about your book when he was in SS1, he said that New School Physics, as at that time, was one of the best textbooks you could use to pass. He used it to pass his WAEC. He made A in physics. And as a result of my curiosity, I had to go and read the book myself, even though I was not a science student. So I know some laws of Newton's law of motion and all of that. And the way it was explained was so simple, excellent, with examples and diagrams. I really appreciate you, sir. Thank you. And then to Kunie Media and every other person who has convened this space, permit me to say this. Because the truth of the matter is that it takes a level of insight, it takes a level of observation to know that this is something that is lacking in our system in Nigeria. I mean, to be able to figure out that we need to begin to celebrate our own. We need to give people their due. We need to celebrate people while they are still alive and here with us. I mean, it's a very great insight. It's something that is worth commendable. And I want to commend everybody that has convened this exercise, Mr. Kunie, Alex, and Nelo, and every other person who was part of convening this exercise. I'm really very grateful. And I really hope that this space is being recorded, because I want to share it with some of my friends as well. I've never heard Prof speak before. This is my first time. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's recorded. I actually want to even let you know that we will have a post-production of this space on YouTube in the next 24 hours. So you can, even though we're like streaming now, but you can go and watch a reproduced version of it, completely well packaged, so that those who couldn't make it to this space and who don't have access to Twitter can also go to YouTube and listen. Prof, I have a little question for you. There are a lot of people who couldn't talk to you tonight. There are people who would like to also contribute. If people want to reach you, how do we make this happen?
The reason I have email and phone number.
We wouldn't want to put your phone number out there, but maybe email can work. Maybe we can give out your email.
Oh,
Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. Would you like
That
to give us your email? Alex, is this okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can share. Please email, please, so that they don't disturb Prof.
Yes,
Email
with
is
phone.
better,
Yes.
so he can
Yes.
read them and respond when he's free.
Can I say the email
Yes,
now?
sir.
I think the email is piousnokk@gmail.com.
Pius N. Okeke at
gmail.com.
gmail.com.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Everybody, I'm sure you've heard it. Pius N for Nigeria, N Okeke at gmail.com. So I actually thought that Ifena was your son. I made a mistake. That was an error. I didn't know that, because Alex told me that your son was to coming to the space. So I thought he was the one when I saw him. Sorry for that miscommunication.
We need to have it.
All right.
Don't worry.
All right. So if you want to contribute to the effort that is being made to support Prof and his wife, look at the Jumbotron. You will see the post by Alex. There's every information you need on that tweet. You can also contact Alex, send him a message, or when he posts again, you can easily send a message to him to get more information if you need more. You can also send us information, send us a DM. We can also furnish you with more information. Whatever you need to be able to support him, we are open. We'll make everything open. We'll make it easy for people to do whatever they can, so that we can continue to support these people who have provided so much to our society that we can never repay. Yes.
There's someone said, one of the comments I was reading before, the person said, I think someone said that they have, when you publish a book, they think that all the books used by everybody in Nigeria was actually from the publisher. There's something they need to understand, is that once you publish a book and you bring it out, pirates are waiting for you. So let's say 20 million people that read the book, probably the ones that was actually published by, printed by Prof, probably may not even be up to 5,000. The pirates, if you come to Marina, they are everywhere. So the people who actually suffered to write these books never really get up to 1% or 0.5% of their work and effort.
That's totally correct.
Yeah, so everybody should understand that. So, and every opportunity we have, we should actually appreciate the genius behind this work and the impact. So it is very, very important we take note of it.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Alex. Okay, well, this is where we bring this conversation to a final close. I don't think anyway, that will come on the announcement. Just follow Kunie Media if you're not following already, so you can get more information about this project as it's going on. Also follow Alex. But more than that, Prof's Twitter handle is also on the Jumbotron. Please go ahead and follow him. Sometimes he will also relay information that you may need as we go. Beyond that, just follow him.
Some people have been asking, why haven't you verified Prof's handle? We just recently changed the name.
Yes.
And it takes like 30 days for X for you to even start the verification process. So that is why it's not. Some people were also querying, is it real Prof? Yes, you can see now it's his handle. So you can go ahead and follow him. So
You've
he
heard
may
his
not
voice
post like me, yes, but intermittently he will be dropping some wisdom. So you can now be confident.
Prof is on Twitter now. To put it simply, he's on Twitter now. And for those who, we saw a lot of requests. Don't think that we ignored you. We saw more than 50 requests, but we were having so many glitches here during the conversation. We couldn't even make anybody co-host. That's how bad it's been. We've just been managing this whole thing so it doesn't crash, because this is a very important space for us. So that's why we couldn't bring you in. And if we couldn't bring you in, we apologize. We're very sorry. It's not because we don't want to, it's because we could not. And bear with us. Maybe next Saturday when we meet again, it will be easier, hopefully. Yes. Thank you for your patience, Prof, and Prof, raise to power 2. Thank you for your patience. You spent 2.5 hours with us. Wow. I didn't know this was possible.
Thank
I didn't know this was possible.
Thank
That's
you.
also sacrifice for you.
All right. All right. All right, everyone.
Good.
Till next Saturday, 8 p.m. Nigerian time. Yagazelu no.
It's the morning show.
Makodim Mandibu.